everybody, welcome to ABA Inside Track Preview Edition for January 2022. I'm your preview host, Robert Perry Cruz, and with me as always are my fabulous co-hosts.
It's me, Jackie, 2022, I get to be second.
And it's me, Diana. Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you all. On this, the podcast about behavior analysis and behavior analytic research. And for those of you new to the show, we do these monthly podcasts at the beginning of the month for our listeners on our main feed, but at the end of the month for our listeners on our Patreon feed, because they get everything a little bit earlier, some VIP action. And yes, this is our first preview discussing all the episodes and all the goings-on for the first month of 2022. But in reality, we're recording this before 2022, so we may have jumped the gun because we usually we wanted to switch over introductions.
Apocalypse.
It could be. We don't know.
22.
You might not get this ever.
Yeah.
But when we're recording this, it's actually almost January. Yeah, so we're recording this a little bit earlier, but you're getting this in January, or right at the end of December, and we'll be talking about all the things coming out this month. And you might notice that we're kind of in a different setup. Most of that's because we've been doing a lot of recording and a lot of things, and we've had this setup. And right now we're very, very tired. This is the last thing we have to do in 2021. So hopefully it will be fun and good, but we are tired and running off fumes just a tiny bit.
And I'm wearing a shark and or mermaid fin blanket.
I think it's a fish that ate you, or shark that ate you.
I love it.
Is the theme of that blanket. All right, so why don't we get to it, and let's start by discussing all of the episodes that will be coming out this month. It's a short month again, finally. I think December, I think these 5 week Wednesdays or 5 Wednesday months are real killers.
Yeah, okay. Great, so we have 3 episodes that are planned for January, so I'm going to let you know what those are. The first one of those is going to be discussion of cultural humility, as well as barriers to leadership. And we were lucky enough to be joined for that episode by Dr. Nasia Cirincione-Ulezi. And we have 2 articles, that we're going to talk about with her. The first is Cultural Humility in the Practice of Applied Behavior Analysis, and that is by Wright from Behavior Analysis in Practice, 2019. And the second one is Black Women and Barriers to Leadership in ABA by Cirincione-Ulezi, also published in BAP in 2020. That's our first episode. And then our next one is one that if you are, or were, I guess, a Patreon member, then you had the opportunity to join us live for our first ever live episode. I mean, we always record them live, but usually you can't hear them live. But that one you could, which was really fun and exciting for us.
It was fun. Mm-hmm. And I kept talking to the people that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you think, person? And I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah, so, but that's now going to be available for everyone to listen to. And it was a topic that was voted on by people as well. So it was a listener choice episode, and the choice was behavioral cusps, which was not something we talked about before.
Surprisingly.
And I think we did an okay job.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. So there were 3 articles that we discussed in that episode, and they were Behavioral Cusps, a developmental and pragmatic concept for behavior analysis, by Rosales, Ruiz, and Bear, published in JABA back in 1997.
17-year-old Jackie read that.
Did you?
No.
And that's how you fell in love with behavior analysis. And the next one is Behavioral Cusps, a model for selecting target behaviors by Bosch and Fuqua from JABA 2001. And then Behavioral Cusps, a person-centered concept for establishing pivotal individual, family, and community behaviors and repertoires by Smith, McDougall, and Edelin Smith in Focus on Autism and Other Developmental Disabilities, 2006. So that was topic 2 for the month of January. And then we are rounding out January by discussing an anxiety assessment and treatment. Again, we were lucky enough to have a special guest. That was Dr. Kira Moore, who joined us for that conversation. And we discussed 2 articles, Assessing and Treating Anxiety in Individuals with Autism by Moore, Bullard, Sweetman, and Ahern in Behavior Modification 2021. And also a case study of behavioral assessment and treatment of insect phobia by Jones and Fryman, published in JABA 1999. Another fine year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's what we have on the docket for January. Quite a range of topics, but they were all really fun.
We partied like it was
1999.
There you go. Thank you.
We also have a couple other things this month, Diana. These are special for people who subscribe to us on Patreon. So like Diana said, if you subscribe at the $5 and up level, then you might have come to our live recording of Behavioral Cusps. If not, you could also check out the video recording if you just couldn't make it, you were busy that night. Or you could just listen to the regular podcast, whichever you desire. You have your choice. We're also going to be doing another new activity for our patrons. Again, at the actually, I think this was at the $3 and up level. You're going to be able to join us and our special guest. We have a special guest coming to talk about elopement, and that's Dr. Megan Boyle, who was on the show. So we do have an episode all about elopement. But really the thought here is getting some of our favorite guests back, getting some individuals who people have asked a lot of questions about to kind of come in and either answer questions from the audience or just to sort of do a quick summary. So maybe if, you listen to the episode and it's been a little while and you just sort of want something that you can kind of quickly use as a reference, that would be kind of a chance to do that. So again, only available for our Patreon subscribers, patreon.com/ABA Inside Track. But that will be happening on January 10th. It's a Monday, which is not a normal recording day, but that will be coming up.
You wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't know that, but now you do. Now you do. Yeah, our recording day can be whatever day we want it to be, I suppose. And I guess speaking of other things going on right now, for all of you listening, either you might have just celebrated the holidays, you might have just done all your presents, maybe you're getting ready for the new year, you just had your new year. But here in the now times we're recording this, it isn't quite. We haven't had all of the holiday celebrations, and so for Christmas, I decided that I wanted to get y'all something related to an activity that you've been doing, a hobby that you've had.
Oh, wow.
So I got you each one. It's kind of the same thing. So this is to Diana or Jackie from me, and this is to
Wow.
Jackie or Diana, also from me.
Is it cookies?
It's not cookies. No, I'm sorry.
Should we open it?
You should open it now, because I wouldn't. Why would I?
Right.
Everyone watching this is like, oh, that's great.
I didn't buy anyone anything.
So nice to know that they got a gift that we never get to see what it is.
Wow, thank you.
And I always wonder what kind of present opener.
Well, normally I actually untape it, which you probably, you can imagine, but I won't do that now because it takes a long time.
No, do the dramatic rip.
Dramatic rip. You wrapped mine real weird. Ooh.
That was the end of my wrapping paper, I believe. I'm trying to be
so.
very...
One last
Oh,
stop.
we got a box.
It's a book.
Sometimes love stops in your trunk.
Oh, wow.
This was on a website
Is this
list
me on
of...
the cover?
It does. It reminded me a little bit of you.
Wait, is this me?
You don't look quite like the lady on the bus. It's a science fiction book, and I know the two of you have been sort of doing your own
Okay.
little book club with the Practical Magic
We've been
series
trying.
of
We
books.
have. Yes.
I've loved Practical Magic series of books.
So this seemed like it was like
Ooh,
romantic. It had kind of
That's what it says.
it was well received.
Neat.
And it was
Oh,
sort of a
this is very
sciencey fiction
sweet.
one. I thought maybe you guys could try it out
So
when you were
Wow,
done with the
that's
other
really
one.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's really sweet, but this won't be on the Inside Track Book Club.
No.
Well, actually, speaking of book clubs, Diana, she said unplannedly,
Oh.
we actually will.
Wait, did
Yes.
you put this because it was a train for dissemination station?
No, it sounded like something that kind of fit in that realm of kind of the magical
Yeah.
realism that I think the Practical Magic
Oh, well, thank you.
had.
That's
Oh,
really
thank
sweet.
you. You're
Thank
very
you. I get
welcome.
something
Oh,
really
thank
thoughtful.
you. I'm like awkwardly leaving my hands down for
Yeah,
everyone to
you're
watch.
like,
Sorry, I wasn't ready. I got the microphones and the wires. Yes, but
very sweet.
speaking of book clubs,
Okay.
Diana, back to that. Yes, we will also be getting ready. We won't be having it in January, but we'll be getting ready for the next ABA Inside Track book club.
Ooh, after we read this book.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll put that one as the
is on
secret
our own
fourth
time.
choice.
Yeah.
That's your own
We're
time.
not clocked in on this one.
So we will be doing our next I guess it's our winter, or kind of our late winter book club. Our months got messed up because of when we started the new year of Patreon offerings, but we will be having our poll. So if you're seeing this video and you're already a patron, the poll will be coming out very shortly. If you are getting this and you're not a patron, well, the poll will be available, but you can't vote on it because you're not a patron. So maybe you should, sign up. Anyone can sign up
For
to
as much
vote
as a
for our books.
latte.
As much as a latte, you're able to vote
Less
on
than a
what book we
latte.
do. And the theme this time around, we'll be recording that episode in February. And again, for new listeners, patrons at the $10 and up level are able to listen to that. It's a special feed only for you, and you're able to earn 2 CEs, no additional charge. And patrons at the $20 level can actually come and join us and be part of the recording. We actually had additional people last time coming, so we had a pretty full house, which is exciting because the more people come, the less work we have to do. No, I'm kidding.
Actually,
we still
the
do a
more
ton of
work
work,
we have to
No,
do.
it's really
but
cool
No,
though.
that's
more
fun.
more
Yeah, it
perspectives
was really nice.
we
It
get
was
to
like a
have.
nice conversation.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
We've heard each other's opinions like a million times, so we want to hear some other people's opinions. So please help us out there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So the theme for the February book club, of which the poll will be out early January, and you'll have a week to vote. So from when this is out, you've only got a
limited
couple more
hold.
days.
Mhm.
Limited hold schedule. The theme is pop psychology, mostly because we thought let's read something that's a little less heavy than some of the other books we've been reading, and some of it just sort of came from other topics we've done in the past few months, and we sort of put together a list of them. So the options are going to be, and they'll appear in front of you, I guess, on the video. But we don't have the books in front of us right now. Will be Oliver Sacks's An Anthropologist on Mars, which is sort of one of his early sort of case study review books, and this is actually one of the books that kind of brought I don't know if it brought Temple Grandin into the wider world, but it was interviews with her. She was certainly very big in her own field, but to sort of like popular the news
You
organizations,
weren't into
perhaps.
animal husbandry.
Yeah, if you weren't into animal husbandry, you probably didn't know who Temple Grandin is. But this is sort of where I think, discussion of her and her life as an autistic woman, where that sort of became something that everyone could read about. So it's kind of an early Oliver Sacks book, lots
I
of
love
case
Oliver
studies.
Sacks.
So that's one choice. Our other choice is Angela Duckworth's Grit, which is not a book about little pieces of dust you get in your eye. It's the popular book about the idea that you can learn how to stick to itiveness, and you can learn to kind of get yourself to stay focused on a task and become a better person because of it. And again, that is something that we talked about when we discussed the idea of delay of gratification, as is that a skill that one can actually teach, can actually change? This book got a lot of traction a couple years ago. Now she's got her own like Freakonomics related podcast all about grit and stick-to-itiveness and everything. But I realized, well, I think I've heard her speak a number of times. I've never read that book. And so we were talking about delay of gratification. We were talking about self-control. And we said, we should probably pick something that the whole world might have heard about. There's been some critique of the book, but again, I think she sounds like a nice person, so I'm curious to see what the actual book is. So that is a choice. Maybe you won't vote on it, and then I'll never know. There's no way for me to read it otherwise. And finally,
She's very smart.
She seems very smart, but again, is there merit to what she's peddling in the book? I don't know. We'll have to find out, and only if you vote on it. And our final choice is John Elder Robinson's kind of memoir book, Look Me in the Eye. It's about his life as an individual with what was diagnosed as Asperger's, and she would still probably identify as an individual with Asperger's, but would now be just another form of autism. So that was kind of a memoir describing what his life was like. And again, while that's not necessarily a directly related science book in a lot of ways, I do think one of the things that has been increasingly, most behavior analysts have been increasingly aware of, is the idea that many of us learn lots and lots of fancy technical skills, and then we forget to think of people as individuals so much as here are the behaviors I'm trying to change. And so I think getting a chance to read a book that, again, was popular in the sort of psychology field, but that also looks at one individual and their experiences across a lifespan is a good exercise for us in terms of thinking about things that you may not think of when you're just being told, here are the problem behaviors I want you to fix, behavior analyst. So again, nice way to get some broad perspective.
This is my my choice. So I'm just plugging it. Come on, vote for this one.
So we've got three options. We've got Anthropologist on Mars, Grit, and Look Me in the Eye as our option. So again, if you're not a patron, patreon.com/ABA Inside Track, get over there and subscribe, and then you can vote for our book club choice. We don't really care which book wins, because
I do.
Whoever wins, we all win. And whoever loses, you still win, because you get to do a fun book club. And that'll be recording in February, but January is when the votes count.
So we can purchase the book and read it
Yes.
before February.
Right.
Exactly.
Right?
All right, I think those are all the recordings that we have this month. And since we are all, like I said, getting very tired, you can't tell exactly what time it is in our tiny room, but it is getting very late because we've been doing a lot of recordings to prepare for a little bit of vacation we'll be taking. You won't know we're taking a vacation because, as far as you've been able to tell, we've had a podcast every single week and we'll continue to do so.
6 years.
Yeah,
For 6 years, yes. So you won't even know that we weren't recording something every minute of the day. But in secret, we did take some time off to be with our family and to relax a little bit. We hope that you got to take some time off to relax with your family, or about to, or ready to celebrate a new year. Again, depending on when you're getting this. But I think from all of us here, we want to say, hope you will join us for a fabulous January and the start of a new 2022.
I love the new memes, and they're like, do you know that 2022 is 2022?
TOO.
Haha, I love that.
Oh, no. 2022 is over. Sorry, I don't like it. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the preview. We'll see you next week with our first new episode of the new year. But until then, keep responding. Bye!